card types. Holy Flayer, Batman. And that's the issue with Flayer, is he doesn't line up that great in this matchup, and we're going to really be feeling that right about now. Well, in fairness, it'd have to be a pretty big Goyf to tangle with this Shadow. Right now, our Goyf would be size 5'6", so even our Goyf would be able to tango with this Shadow. Spell Bomb. Oh boy. Here goes my yard. Don't like doing that to the deck, but it's an option I could see. I just don't think that we're active enough on Traverse. Yeah. I agree with that statement. I think I should just trade this Flare with the Snapcaster Mage. I hate to say it, but I mean, he's just going to blow this Spell Bomb no matter what I do. At least we're getting rid of something with this Flare. Well, right. We would have to refocus the deck and run probably like second Architect, second Mishra's Bauble. We'd absolutely have to have some cards, you know, weird cards like Tribal. You know, if you're going to pull off, in a grindy deck, if you're going to pull off Delirium, you'd have to make some sacrifices. You'd have to make some real commitments to those cards to pull them off. And there's some real benefits, you know, like we can tutor for the Bajuka Bog a lot more often, and we'll get games against Dredge a lot more often. We'll be able to find the Restore Balance a lot more often. I think there are a lot of benefits to Traverse, and not even using Traverse in the traditional sense, we'd actually be using it almost more for the land package in our deck, thanks to Talaria. So, or being able to find the Ghost Quarter when we've already got the Life from the Loam going. So, I really could see a benefit to this. And really, if the only threat that we want is Goyf, in a sea of shadows where that's one of the few creatures that could be comparable size. I mean, right now this is a 9/9 Shadow. These aren't nearly... Even if I had a Goyf, it wouldn't be big enough. You know? Is this a blocker? Maybe we just go Ooze. Ooze Catacombs. I think it's Ooze, and we'll probably block with Arbor. Arbor helps me start to work on my Delirium. Like, Arbor gives me creature. We already have creature, never mind. Well, it gives me land. Let's go ahead and fetch up that. I feel like I use that Dried Arbor a lot in this deck. That's a good thing. Like, we used it against Lily, or Edicts. I mean, it's probably killing my Ooze. However, that's really super toolboxy. Having less threats would make your control matchups worse. Well, right, once we run out of 4 Goyfs, that's it. 4 Goyfs and then 1 or 2 Witnesses. Yeah, once you run out of your Goyfs and your Witnesses, yes. Well, no, we have, like, Loam threats. I don't even think that we're that bad against control. Like, we just draw lots of cards against them, Spider Space, and it's like, okay, did you defeat all my Goyfs? We'll bring back some of those Goyfs unless they're being pathed. And then beyond that, it's like we got an Ooze we could run. We've got Quagmires and Arbors that keep coming back. I don't necessarily think we're that threat light. Speaking of Arbor, let's block this. Let's see, there's another removal spell here. Aha! We did it! And Loam would be nice. Two more turns on that Ancestral. Misty. Okay. I mean, Misty lets me go Flayer. Is that all that exciting? We have to shock ourselves to do it. Forgot about Loam. I really like the Loam in your list. Have you tried more than one copy? We did at one point, Spider Space. I think multiple Loams is good for this deck. I think I could definitely see 2 Loams in the 75. Means that we're going to have the synergy for the Dark Heart more often. A lot of games we go fetch up the Dryad Arbor to chump or kill something. A lot of the time. He's probably pushing. Yep. Are we in that weird space where I have to consider just chumping the Death Shadow, and then we have to like witness back. Oh, I don't even know. Guess witness back Arbor means we get to guarantee a block on the Snapcaster Mage. Opponent still has 3 cards in hand, which is terrifying. So just gonna serve in with a Shadow. Okay, I'll take the block. I think we just have to last long enough for this Ancestral, and he might have the Stubborn Denial, so it's like maybe that's not even a thing. They are like mono Stubborn Denial deck. Some lists run the playlist even. Right, what am I witnessing back? Am I really going to witness an Arbor? I think I might have to. Considering that we want to build Ancestral, I think Flare hits more relevant than... I don't even think I want... I just don't know if the meta's happy for either Treebeard is kind of what I feel we've experienced. Is this Culligan's command? No. So I wanted to try to put the Arbor in front of the Snap. I guess he's not biting. I just fear that he's got the counterspell for this Ancestral. Like, we produced a lot of relevant blockers, but this another Gurmagur. It's good versus Living End. Oh yeah, I mean it's good. It's good. There are matchups where it's good. I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily want to transition us into this, you know. I think there's merit to a Traverse version. I think it's also, we'd have to run more enablers. I think there's merit to the Flare version. It's just we need to recognize that he's not going to be good in every match, you know. This is the match where he's not so great. Grim Flare, that is. So, they do have the Stubborn. And then I drew Restore Balance. No, I'm kidding. That would have been like a dream come true. I think we can survive a little bit longer. I think he was considering countering that too, huh? Okay. Well, we should have had more of a game 1. We usually put up more of a fight game 1. We mulled to 5 and kind of got... Well, you saw how it went. Dead. I would just ship the whole team, man. What are you doing? I have to block Shadow here. He's missing out on 2 damage here. What's up with that? That's weird. We should be at 7 right here. Garrick probably gets countered. Garrick doesn't even necessarily make us live, right? I think if we'd seen him sooner... Assuming this gets stubborned. He's been acting like he has another Stubborn Denial. Or Snapcaster Stubborn. Yep. GG's. It's okay. That's, honestly though, that's one of the few times, at least with the Sul-tide version of this deck, that we've actually lost this matchup, so... You can't win them all. I don't expect to beat Shadow every time I play it. Even when we have, like, cutesy things like mainboard flushes and another flush. Alright, let's go back. Let's play another game. It's gaining life and it's great in some matchups. The card doesn't affect the board. Do you think it could be more of a sideboard card? It could Spider. I still really like the fact that it lets us Geddon, though. Geddon. I do really like that fact. Here's what I was thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. Let's stick with what's been working, and let's just build off of that. I think that's all I can really say. I liked the inclusion of Jace. That's a recent addition. I like the Garrick. We just needed to live long enough. I don't know about Lily. She's the one that feels most main deckable to me. Lily of the Last Hope. She's certainly grown on me in the deck. Like we had a sideboard Jace, a sideboard Garrick. Spider says, you see, that's a neat interaction. Well, it only works if we have mostly forests in play. Like, if we're playing out our feeded pools and our basic swamp and island, it's less of a get-in. So, that's why somebody suggested going as deep as, I think your friend Stasis Guy suggested Prismatic Omen. If we had more synergy for Prismatic Omen, I'd be down. We don't really. I kind of want to see where this hand leads. Because technically we've got a Dismember. We've got more than just Suspend Ancestral. We got Dismember, we got a Bauble that's going to see some cards. We're on the draw. Let's see where this hand leads. Map. So they have Tron. This is one of the situations where you just kind of have to hope that they don't have what they need. I think we're just toast. Well, we got 4 card types, so we do have Delirium. I mean, my hope is that he's Eldrazi Tron, but because that we could actually not necessarily completely lose to. They have fewer copies of Karn, is the reason why.
So, what are we really made?
Nice, he's Eldrazi Tron. We have a chance. Oh, never mind, he's Bluetron. Bluetron's actually not that threat dense. We actually do have a shot. Bluetron, we have a chance. Like, for example, against Bluetron, I absolutely want to Brutality him. What you got? Brutality's actually decent against Bluetron. What spells have you got over there, sir? Repeal, repeal, Ugin. Oh boy. Oh, actually, we're probably toast. That's an Ugin. They're not that. Usually, Bluetron's not that threat dense, but the threats that they employ are, yeah, game ending, so. Don't think I can beat an Ugin. I would need, like, Green Source, Maelstrom Pulse. This is not the variant of Tron that we're probably going to see much at Vegas, but it is a fun version of the deck, so people do indeed play it in paper. It's certainly very popular on Magic Online. Fatal Push. Alright. I needed to see, like, Maelstrom Pulse green land. I don't think we're going to see it for a while. That's a green source. But no Maelstrom Pulse. I know, we talked about adding more copies of this card. I could see us running as many as 2 in the 75. Okay, so how do we want to beat this thing? Bluetron. Counterspell's okay. Bluetron. This would be a match where I don't think I'm going to continue to run the Raven's Crime, but if we become more of a loam deck, I want more cards like that. Speaking of which, this actually might be a matchup for Harvest. Because they sometimes get like a recurring counterspell going. This is where our loam engine is really important. We've actually slimmed our quarters, which is, I think that's fine if we're going to run Traverse. We're not running Traverse, so that's not fine. The only removal I have that matters is like the Edicts, right? Like Lily could probably even come out as well. Before we added walkers, we eventually lost most stable games. We haven't run into them since, but Garrick should help. Well, speaking of which, maybe we should run Garrick here. That's a 60. Is that the 60? So we got kind of some token generation going. This feels okay. Let's rock it.